Find a broad hippopotamus, the broad hippopotamus. She was no real relation to him, and he spanked her very hard to make sure that the bicolor python rock snake had spoken the truth about his new trunk. The rest of the time he picked up the melon rhymes that he had dropped on the way to the Limpopo River because he wanted to be tidy. One dark evening he came back to all his dear families and coiled up his trunk and said, "How do you do?" They were very glad to see him and immediately said, "Come here and be spanked for your satiable curiosity." "Puh," said the elephant's child. "I don't think you people know anything about spanking, but I do. I'll show you." Then he uncurled his trunk and knocked out two of his dear brothers over their heels. "Oh, bananas," they said. "Where did you learn that trick, and what have you done to your nose?" "I got a new one from the crocodile on the banks of the great gray, green, greasy Limpopo River," said the elephant's child. "I asked him what he had for dinner, and he gave me this to keep." "It looks very ugly," said the hairy Uncle Baboon. "It does," said the elephant's child, "but it's very useful." And he picked up the hairy Uncle Baboon by one hairy leg and he shoved him into a hornet's nest. Then that bad elephant's child spanked all his dear families for a long time till they were very warm and greatly astonished. He pulled out his tail, ostrich, ant's long feathers. He's getting everybody back, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he caught his tall uncle a giraffe by the hind legs and dragged him through the thorn bush, and he shouted at his broad aunt, the hippopotamus, and blew bubbles in her ear when she was sleeping. But he never let anyone touch the koala bird.
Why?
Because that's the bird that helped him. At last things grew so exciting that his dear families went off one by one in a hurry to the banks of the great green, gray, greasy Limpopo River, all set about with fever trees to borrow new noses from the crocodile. When they came back, nobody spanked anybody anymore. And ever since that day, oh best beloved, all the elephants you will ever see, besides all those that you won't, have trunks precisely like the trunk of the satiable elephant's child. So this story answered a question of why. What question of why did it answer?
Why did the elephant get its long nose?
Good. Very good. All right. So what we're going to do now is a little writing activity up on our board. Do you want to sit in this chair for me?
Yeah.
All right. So we can see you. All right. So we said that the story was called Pourquoi.
Pourquoi?
Mm-hmm. And pourquoi is French.
For why?
For what word?
Why?
Yeah. Why or how? Good. So when we write a pourquoi, we're answering a question of why something is the way it is or how it is the way it is. Okay? So in our story, what did our character?
The elephant's child.
And what about the elephant?
He had a lot of questions. He wanted to know how they got their noses and stuff
All right,
like
so
that.
he was curious.
And how they got their, how come his aunt had red eyes and his uncle had fur
Right.
and the giraffe had spots and who was the first?
The ostrich.
And why the ostrich had feathers.
Mm-hmm. So it was the elephant, and the elephant was curious, and because of his curiosity, what happened to him?
Got spanked.
Good, but then at the end, what is the answer?
I don't know.
Well, what happened to his trunk?
He got a long one.
Good, his trunk grew long. All right, good. So,
Miss Ellen,
yes?
why can't you put it right there?
For what right there?
The one.
Oh, well, because right now I was going to ask you about some other animals. And what the animals could be like and what we could explain about the animals so that when you start to write your own pourquoi, you have some ideas.
Okay.
All right, so and it doesn't have to be an animal, it can be a thing because
Okay.
pourquoi doesn't always answer something about an animal. It could be something about how the rainbow got its arch or why the sun is in the sky or
Oh, I don't know why the
why
sun
a
is in the
skunk smells, or how the Grand Canyon was found. Okay.
I think I'll do why the sun is in this. No,
Well, let's think
that's too hard.
Let's think of some animals first. What can we talk about? Some animals that have some characteristics we could explain why.
Why does the cheetah have a tail?
Okay. So we could say the cheetah. And we're going to explain, so this is the animal. And this is the body part, or the change, I guess you could say. And the tail. So why does it have a tail? All right, and in every pourquoi, it kind of teaches a lesson. So the lesson was for the elephant, maybe to be less curious, because he was always so curious what was happening. When he asked all his relatives those questions, what happened to him every time he was curious?
He got spanked.
He got spanked. So because of his curiosity, he got spanked. So what can we say about the cheetah? What kind of lesson, what does the cheetah do that helps tell the story in the lesson? You know how the elephant child goes from person to person to person to person because he's curious. And if you heard of the story, Why the Mosquito Buzzes in People's Ears? It's another pourquoi. Okay, and the mosquito annoys everybody by buzzing, by telling them secrets in their ears, and he lies to people, and finally at the end, the last person smacks him and kills him, and it says why mosquitoes buzz in people's ears is to annoy them, that he's annoying, and because of that he got smacked. So what could the cheetah's lesson be? What do you think? Or how, if we were going to write the story about the cheetah, how does he have a tail at all when it starts? He doesn't have a tail at all. So how's he going to get a tail?
I'll be right back. I'll show you that picture. That bird.
Oh, okay. You brought a picture with you?
Yes.
Okay. Here, bring it up.
This one.
Oh, and what about
That
the
kind of
cheetah?
bird. The bird.
So this is a picture that you brought with you?
Yeah.
All right. And what about the cheetah?
The let's see.
What about how the cheetah got his spots? Let's think of some other animals, since we're having a little trouble with the cheetah. What other?
Spots. That one. No, how the. Oh, I just.
I have one that I might do. I'm thinking if I write one with you while you're writing, I might do the skunk.
Oh,
And
I got one for a
do-
skunk.
What?
He swallowed a stink bug.
So, could his lesson be not to eat things that people tell him not to eat?
Yeah.
Okay, so he eats whatever he sees.
Yes.
So maybe you're gonna do the skunk.
Yeah.
So the lesson is not to eat whatever you see.
Yeah.
And is this good? So what's gonna change with the skunk?
He
This is why he what?
why he sprayed
Why he
people.
is, okay, why he smells?
Yeah, why it stinks.
Why he can spray?
Yeah.
Alright. Ooh. So you say stink bug, something like you're thinking about a stink bug? I'm
Yeah.
just gonna put that there to remind us about the stink bug part. Alright. So the cheetah and his tail, so that's something that we could go back to.
Yeah.
Can you think of any other animals we might be able to think about?
Hmm. Why did the rhino get his horn?
Oh, so rhino and his horn.
Yeah.
All right. And what could the rhino do that might give him that horn?
Hmm. He might.
The rhinoceros and how he got his horn.
I'm thinking of a stone getting on his nose.
A stone getting on his nose?
Yeah, getting stuck on his nose.
Okay.
That make it look like it. Although, wait.
So what could his lesson be then?
Not to hit everything.
Not to what?
Not to hit everything.
Okay.
Because he was hitting your shirt first and the bottom of it got stuck on his nose, and so he got a horn.
All right. Good. We came up with 3 good ones. All right. So when pork-walls start out, they usually start out long, like with the beginning. I'm gonna get a piece of tape. Hold on. I'm hanging this on the wall.
I'm gonna do the skunk one.
I like the skunk one.
Yeah. Are you gonna do one?
Okay. All right. So we're gonna hang this on the wall here.
What am I gonna
Think
write?
our ideas. Just hold on. So, when the stories begin, they usually happen a long, long time ago because they're explaining something that happened a long, long time ago. So when we begin, most pork-walls start with a long time ago in a faraway land, or a long time ago before there was. So, the beginning will be a long time ago. And then I'm gonna put these dots here. When you're writing your story, you're not gonna put those dots, but when you're writing, just leave that on the phone. When you're writing your story, it can start a long time ago.
Okay.
All right?
Why is there 4 then?
I just do that. I don't know. Usually I do 3. I don't know why I did 4. Where is your story? Is your story going to take place? So what is the setting?
In the United States, but before the United States was made. When?
So before the United States was a country?
Yeah.
So a long time ago, in the United States before it was a country?
Yeah.
All right.
What should I call it though? But United States.
Let's see. Well, let's brainstorm that. Let's think about it. A long time ago in the United States, before it was a country, the land was known as.
Maybe England, because England did rule it. Wait, before even that.
Yeah, you want to think way, way, way long ago.
Yeah.
Before it even had a name.
Yeah. No names.
Yeah, so we could just you could just say, a long time ago in the United States, before it was a country, before there even were names, before lands even had names.
Mhm.